Both Andrew Cuomo and Chuck Schumer in our area today, and Don caught up with both of them, and they discussed the Supreme Court fight, the presidential election, and a whole lot more.
Senator Schumer, with the Supreme Court, should President Obama go with the base in terms of to energize the base?
I am not going to get into who should. He will pick a well-qualified nominee. The two he's chosen have gotten bipartisan support, both New Yorkers. Justice Sotomayor, who was from the Bronx, Kagan, who was originally from Manhattan. And he's got to pick a qualified nominee, and I think once the public sees who the nominee is, there'll be pressure on our Republican colleagues to have hearings and have a vote.
McConnell will give, in your opinion?
The hard right is telling him not to give, but the public is telling him to give. I think McConnell will do what he's done in the past, and when he hears the public voice, he'll move over.
Presidential race, are you surprised at Donald Trump's success?
Well, people are angry, but I think when people figure out who can best solve their problems, it'll be Hillary Clinton.
Finally,
Okay.
Senator, just quickly, what does a general election race look like, Hillary versus Trump?
I think Hillary will be the next president of the United States.
When they said we couldn't.
Richard, the governor, was also in our area addressing New York Democrats in Terrytown.
We stood up and we passed marriage equality, and it resonated through the entire country. We stood up and we passed gun control when they said we couldn't pass it and no one could pass it and they ran afraid of the NRA. We passed the SAFE Act, the smartest gun control in the nation, and we did it here in New York.
And Cuomo, a longtime supporter of Hillary Clinton, discussed the presidential race.
This is going to be a great year for the state. We're going to have a new president who points this country in the right direction and who wins over the naysayers and those who would spread fear rather than hope.
Tom, it's been an interesting last 6 months for this governor. And you know, you've seen some pieces where some of the Democrats and all, but don't know whether he's coming or going and where the play is on this. Have you figured out where he's at?
I've always thought,
Other
all
than like in the
along-
beating up de Blasio, beyond that.
Okay, de Blasio, that's the minor leagues in terms of beating him up for Cuomo.
You never miss an opportunity to say that about the mayor,
never
do you?
miss an
Go ahead.
opportunity. Every opportunity is an opportunity. But Cuomo, I've always thought that he's always had his father over his shoulder, and he wants to be able to match the amount of time that his father was governor of the state of New York. He sounds just like his father. It's almost creepy. And he does give a good stump speech. So I did say something nice about the governor. What's going to be interesting, though, is that he's on the sidelines as he wants national office in terms of being the Democratic nominee. There's just one little teeny problem with that called Hillary Clinton.
Where, in terms of his Albany agenda, where do you see it? Because he's always been socially progressive, fiscally conservative, or at least moderate. $15 minimum wage. Right. He's taken certain positions right now that run counter, and you get the idea. Assembly leadership doesn't necessarily know exactly where he's going. Senate Democrats are waiting for a little bit more of direction on this one. There is a little bit of a muddled picture, right?
No. It's a legislative reelection year, and he's not up for reelection. And I think he's going to lean back and not provide any opportunity for anybody to hijack his agenda for the rest of this budget season and then through the end of the legislative session. And then it's going to change once we see who has control of the state Senate. I think, you know, between national politics and...
Does he want a Democratic Senate?
I would say that most observers in Albany believe
Let me save you.
That it's a tough one. I think I think between the IDC and the Republicans come back with a majority in some sort of coalition.
Yeah, very, very nice. You're still in good stead. Andrew, you saw Tom pushing Schumer on the Senate confirmation process as it relates to the Supreme Court pick. First guess it right now. If you want to go with a name, but when does the president nominate somebody? At the end of the day, does McConnell allow an up and down vote?
I think next week we'll get a name from the White House. I don't think it'll happen this week. I think they still want to give it due diligence.
Progressive, moderate. We got that name out of Nevada.
I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know.
I know you don't know, but guess.
I'm not really sure. look, if they think this nomination is going to be rejected out of hand, then they might just go for a progressive to spur the base. Exactly. If they think there's actually a chance that they might get business done, then they have to go for a moderate. I don't know.
If there's indication there's no way the Senate Republicans will pick it up, then they'll go with someone to motivate the base, but really someone who actually would take one for the team, because to put yourself through this, it's not something anyone who still wants to hang around.
Yeah.
So I could see a Loretta Lynch taking one for the team and then having it be galvanizing for states throughout the South and for urban areas for the presidential election.
What about Eric Holder?
Maybe an Eric Holder type, but if it's something you really want to do and you're qualified and you're on a circuit court of appeals or you're a governor and you want it, you don't want this.
But I still don't see the path for him actually putting a nominee on the court this year. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. I think I've seen nothing. You know, we're getting Christie and a few other Republicans who are saying they should have a vote. You almost get the sense,
Tom, Democrats would almost want the Republicans to not let this come up, certainly not to confirm, because this is like political manna from heaven. I mean, this is just obstructionism. This is, them putting politics above country and all the rest. It'll be interesting how this plays out.
The reason why the Democratic primary has tilted so heavily now in favor of Hillary Clinton, progressives, and more of the base demographics voting. So when you can say, look at what they did to our president, it energizes the base.
All right, we're going to leave politics aside, guys. And on the other side of the break here, it was Oscar night last night. Chris Rock, I think most accounts said, did a solid job here, having to tiptoe a very delicate subject. I don't think there was too much tiptoeing. The question is, did he go too far or not? We'll talk about that after this.